I am definitely not in the worst part of town trying to pick up prostitutes. I'll explain on this episode of The Hot Zone.
This is The Hot Zone. Engaging with the news in a whole new way, international war correspondent Chuck Holton brings insight into areas of crisis and lets you help those affected.
Hey folks, how's it going? This is Chuck Holton, and I am in Cúcuta, Colombia tonight in a really seedy part of town, and that's putting it mildly, I would say. As a matter of fact, you probably will see me here in about 15 seconds pass a couple of nice ladies of the night who are engaged in, they're normal, probably what they normally do here at night. And buenas, ¿cómo está? There's one. So this is not the kind of place you'd want to bring your kids, of course, but you might be asking why I'm wandering around in this kind of a place at this time of night. It's about 10 o'clock at night. And let me just back up and explain to you how our trip has gone so far here in Cúcuta, Colombia, right on the Venezuelan border. This place is a city in crisis, and it's in crisis because that is the loudest taxi I have ever heard. That was amazing. Cúcuta is a place in crisis because there are 300,000 or more Venezuelans currently here in Cúcuta, and they are flooding into this city, this right here on the border from Venezuela, as Venezuela really just crumbles. It's a slow motion train wreck over there. The kind of things that we've heard over and over again are just how people are literally starving to death. Children are malnourished. There's no medicine. There's no toilet paper. There's nothing over there. We're watching people. Buenas. ¿Cómo está? We're watching people come across carrying copper cable wrapped around their legs, and we ask them like what they're doing, and they're selling the copper cable that they've ripped out of the walls in buildings in Venezuela and bring it over here and then turn around and sell it for whatever they can get, which probably explains why there's not a lot in the way of electricity in Venezuela right now in many of the border towns. So if you're wondering whether or not I'm kind of worried I'm going to get rolled out here, the only thing that really worries me is the fact that I'm talking to you at this moment, because it makes it a little bit more difficult for me to maintain situational awareness, let's say. But the very good thing is that this camera I'm talking into has a little screen right there that I can see who's coming up behind me, and that's very helpful right now. This is the kind of place where, it's a transitional space, very, very dangerous. My friend John Korea talks about, not doing things in transitional spaces that are distracting, because it leaves you open to being robbed. So I might just check behind me once in a while, but that's why I'm doing that, because this is definitely not a good neighborhood. Anyway, we got here and we've been interviewing Venezuelans for the last several days and listening to their stories of absolute suffering and hardship and death, and just they're all so angry at the dictator Nicolas Maduro. As a matter of fact, if you say the name Maduro and there are Venezuelans in your hearing, they will immediately issue an expletive en masse. Maduro! Yeah, I'm not even going to translate what that means. Okay. It's just kind of the natural response for them. They are very upset about what's happened to their beautiful country. So they're coming over here. They're desperate. They have no money. I mean, their money that they bring from Venezuela is literally worth less than toilet paper. And so there's nothing they can do with that. So they have to find a way to make money here. One of the reasons I'm out here tonight is that I'm kind of looking for ways to illustrate that. And one of the best ways you could illustrate that is by meeting prostitutes who are actually mothers with families and husbands back in Venezuela, but they're coming over here to Cucuta and selling their bodies for just a little bit of money in order to make enough money literally to survive. And so, before you go judging, you might ask yourself, just how far would you go to make sure that your children could eat at night, to make sure that your children could get the medical care that they needed? And it's hard to judge these poor women and what they're having to go through. This street that I'm on is the street where the taxi driver told us that Venezuelan prostitutes all hang out. And if I can get up my nerve to actually talk to one of them, maybe we'll find out their story. Maybe they'll punch me in the nose. Maybe I don't know. This is not really my comfort zone, let's put it that way. Nevertheless, so today we started out at a refugee center, a medical clinic, kind of supported by Samaritan's Purse, and it's where the mothers with children come to get things like formula and diapers and other medical care. There's a doctor there and that sort of thing. So there were a bunch of mothers lined up on the sidewalk outside, and we talked to some of them and heard their stories. Obviously, pretty heart-wrenching stories. It's amazing how many similarities I've noticed between what's going on in Venezuela and what I was seeing in Syria. Now, the stuff in Syria was definitely worse last week when I was there, but it's similar in some ways in that just the level of desperation. You have people that literally just they run out of options. They don't have any other options, and so they're reduced to stealing. They're reduced to prostitution and just horrible things like that. The stories of these women telling about their babies and the difficulty that they've had. This is if I go to the hospital in Venezuela, my baby's dead essentially. I did ask if the government, because it's so broke, because it's so out of money, was maybe encouraging women to abort their babies, and they said no, that's not the case. Abortion is still, in a Latin American country, a very, very kind of taboo thing. Now, is somebody coming to talk to me right now? Hola.
Disculpa, ¿sí?
Buenas. Sí, sí.
Disculpa.
Sí, sí. ¿Cómo puedo ayudarse? ¿Cuál es su nombre?
Jade.
Jade. Ajá. ¿Y cómo puedo ayudarse?
No importa, ya. Quiero estarme acá un minuto.
¿Por qué?
Un minuto,
¿Hay
¿ya?
problemas con ese señor?
No, nada.
¿Tiene problemas?
No, estoy bien.
Yo también venía.
Ah, sí.
Yo no lo conozco a
¿Ustedes son venezolanos?
Venezolano.
Colombiana.
¿Colombiana?
Colombiana.
¿Y él venezolano? Sí. Explíqueme. Pues, okay, so I'm just asking this girl where she's from. She just walked over here and sat down next to me, and I think maybe it's either because she is hoping for some business. ¿Hablas inglés?
No, voy
Okay.
a comprar una pipa.
Una pipa.
¿Me espera?
Ok.
Pero me espera.
Estoy aquí como
¿Vamos?
5 minutos más.
Yo me quedo aquí.
Mira,
Ay.
tengo 5 minutos más. So she walked over here. She's a little slower, maybe on drugs or something like that. Drogadicto ella. Explíqueme lo que está pasando con ella.
No, un caramelo. Una pipa se le llama un caramelo.
Ajá, sí.
Un caramelo
sí.
de menta.
Pero ¿por qué está sentado al lado de mí?
¿Quién?
Ella.
O sea, a mí me llamó la atención eso porque...
Sí, en la cámara. Sí. ¿Cuál es su nombre?
Heine.
Heine? Soy Carlos. Okay, this is Heine. He's from Venezuela, and he just came over because he was interested in the camera. Came over, sat down next to me. Again, I've got to, be careful and keep my head on a swivel here, but people have been really amazingly nice. We got a chance today to go to see what they call La Trocha. That is like the shortcut that's people smuggling goods out of Venezuela and into Venezuela, and they don't want to take them in over the bridge where they'll get checked by the police or anything. Take a look at what that looked like. So, actually, I'm standing right now in Venezuela, technically. This is the River Táchira. That's the Colombian side over there. Look at these guys over here. They're just simply wading across. I mean, it's not that far. There's no police anywhere. And this is what they call the shortcut, or La Trocha. The bridge where you come across officially is about a quarter mile that way. But right here, there's nobody. So we just walked right across, and here's the Venezuelan side over here. That's it. We're in Venezuela. Ta-da! This is the first-class way to travel from Venezuela to Colombia. You get food, drink, and a comfortable ride. And nice scenery. So that was pretty interesting. I'm still out here. I was talking about just the trouble with ladies of the evening that are out here, and how these people are so desperate, and they've come and the Colombian prostitutes get in fights with the Venezuelan prostitutes because the Venezuelans will work so much cheaper. I've been told that these women will sell their bodies for $6 a job, or whatever you call it, and that's pretty horrific, really, if you think about it. I mean, anybody who's got daughters like I do, my oldest daughter's 22. You kind of look at these poor girls and you just think, where's their daddy? Where's their daddy? And does he care? Does he know? And I am just, it's really emotionally draining if you really want to be honest about it, to come out here and meet people that are in such desperate straits. And anyway, I just wanted to bring you out here and kind of show you what it looks like around here. I'm going to walk around a little bit more just so you can get a look. Let me say goodbye to my friend here. Gracias, pues. Voy a seguir adelante.
Una pregunta que te iba a hacer.
Sí.
Una pregunta. Preséntate, sí.
¿Cómo? Pero tengo 30 segundos.
Y
tengo que
esta broma sobre qué
yo soy periodista.
Ajá.
Estoy haciendo reportaje en vivo.
¿De Estados Unidos?
Sí.
Ajá.
Entonces,
¿Usted está
dígale
hablando?
hola. Ahí. Pues. Okay. So, with that, what I just did is I got this guy to go away by telling him I'm a journalist and that I'm making a broadcast for the United States, and he decided he didn't want to be on camera, which I kind of figured would be the case. Nevertheless, if you see this guy, older bald guy, follow me around, don't get worried, because he's the taxi driver, and he insisted on taking care of us while we're out here, making sure that we were okay. And I tried to explain to him that I couldn't get somebody to attack me if I tried out here. People have been so nice. They've been so just understanding. When we went down to the border, we found this, like you saw there, this trail, and all the guys down there, all the smugglers, were just so nice. They were like our long-lost friends, and we just hit it off with those guys. It was really kind of fun to go down there and be there with those guys. But anyway, I'm walking back now into the kind of the worst part of the district. If you're listening to this podcast on audio, it's going to get pretty noisy here, and so I'm going to have to sign off. But for the video podcast, I'm going to keep walking and just let you see where I am right now. I'm going to flip the camera around so you can see it, and we'll stop by the haircuttery and see if our Padawan learner has finished his haircut. I'm done. He's still getting it? Okay, we gotta. No. Craziness. Not a good place to be.
The Hot Zone is produced by Amy Holton and Livefire Media. Copyright 2019.